It's the 50th anniversary of the Landmark Civil Rights Act. If you follow politics, especially if you get all the emails from the politicians, a lot of statements coming in recent days. Listen to Rand Paul here. He's the freshman senator from Kentucky. He's home yesterday, and he says he stands out among Republicans when it comes to civil rights issues.
I think you'll find nobody in Congress doing more for minority rights than me right now, Republican or Democrat.
Now, we have in recent months watched Senator Paul do a lot of outreach. He says all the time Republicans cannot be the white party or they will lose. But Democrats say, wait a minute, how does this new Rand Paul mesh with this Rand Paul?
I think it's a bad business decision to ever exclude anybody from your restaurant. But at the same time, I do believe in private ownership.
That, Molly, is 4 years ago, where Rand Paul is essentially saying if you're the private owner of a restaurant, he might disagree with you, but he thinks maybe you should have the right to be able to turn somebody away.
Well, and obviously the fact that it's still being played on television shows that he has yet to live it down, and he has yet to explicitly repudiate that position, even though obviously he is saying very favorable things about civil rights and about the Civil Rights Act now. And so this sort of illustrates the tough spot he's in, trying to run as a libertarian while simultaneously appealing to a community that is generally very favorable to government in general. So he definitely feels that he can go to the black community and show up and get some credit for that. But a lot of the critics are then going to say, well, what about the policies that we care about? What about something like voter ID, which he first said he was against and then sort of walked back? And so there's a lot of these pressure points where people are going to say, what are you doing for us specifically, not just besides just being here?
So he's got some navigation to do within his own party.
Yeah, well, this is something, as Molly said, it's exactly right. He's sort of laying like dual tracks, right? I mean, he's dealing with the libertarian base, and then he's dealing with some fix work in terms of dealing with the black community. He has been having to do a lot of this. I don't think he's where he needs to be. I think that he hopes that by the time, if he is a nominee or if we're in the thick of a presidential campaign and a primary, he will be closer to that. He is, his statement about being the only person right now in Congress doing this much for minority rights is maybe a bit of an overstatement. But he certainly is the only person you're seeing on the Republican side who is doing this much of an effort. The last time we saw something approaching this was Christie, who did make some effort when he was running in the gubernatorial re-election in 2013. He has been completely subsumed by events since then.
That's an excellent, completely subsumed by events since then. Chris Christie would not disagree with that statement.